Unser Blick wieder auf die aktuelle Bahnzeit 12:50 Uhr. Das bedeutet noch 5 Minuten bis zum Rennstart. 5 minutes to the start. Schauen wir mal, ob mein lieber Kollege Ottmar schon wieder oben ist im Zielauslauf.
Ja, Alex, ich höre dich. Ich bin natürlich bereits im Auslauf und warte gespannt auf das große Finale im Herren-Doppelsitzer. Italiener. Lieber Alex, bitte erzähl dem Stefan, dass bei mir wieder das Innere nicht funktioniert.
So welcome back to the Tyrolean Alps. As you see, the top three, Latvia, Austria, and the Austrians and the Germans are in the top three positions. Beautiful view across the valley in Innsbruck. At the Tyrolean Alps, we're at the Eagles track, 10-minute drive up the mountain from downtown Innsbruck. Actually, the village of Eagles is on the way, charming village, and here is the track that has been hosting World Cup races since it premiered for the 1964 Olympics. Twice the Olympics have been held here on this track at the Olympic Sliding Center, 1964 and 1976. And of course, those 64 Olympics were the first time it ever was held. That is luge at the Olympic Games. A look at the profile and the brand new start ramp, which is just there above curve number 3. The start ramp used to be down around corner 6. So you're actually looking at the men's start profile. Then they make their way through the Kreisel, curve 8, 9, 10, lower labyrinth S turns, uphill to the finish, where the pad will be tomorrow to hit in the team relay. But this is men's doubles. There's a good look. As you see that new start ramp, no building yet there. The athletes have been changing either at the start houses above and below. The old start ramp had a very tricky left-hand turn, and before you knew it, these athletes were in the 360-degree Kreisel. The new start ramp passes that old start ramp. Here's the Kreisel. Corner 8 is a bit of a right-hand turn. Corner 9 is a very significant left-hand turn. A straightaway to the high wall of the 10th corner, and then the lower S section where 2 sleds crashed in run number 1. Well, welcome to our viewers tuning in on our FIL YouTube channel. We have Beatrice flying those Romanian flags. Maurizio is on board, as he has been all season. Thank you for watching. Construction site here in Innsbruck, as they will spend the next 2 years modernizing this entire facility. So phase 1 was this new start ramp for women's and doubles. A look at the start list as they will go from slowest to fastest. Of the 20 sleds in run number 1, only 18 qualified here for the second heat. 1 Latvian team and 1, surprisingly, 1 Austrian team had crashes down at the bottom, finished in 19th and 20th places.
Ja, Lara Zimmermann sollte es gewesen sein, zumindest laut unserem Computer da mit dem Vorläuferschlitten. Und jetzt haben wir es noch 1 Minute.
So here we go. Will the Austrian flags fly? Will it be Germany? Will it be Latvia? It'll be interesting to see. Got 2 American sleds in the top 6, or the top 7 rather. We've got Toby Vendel and Toby Alt. They're in 8th place. They've certainly made a habit over their long career of sneaking onto the podium after being in 7th or 8th place after run number 1. Here we go, our 4th run of racing today. We still have the men's singles competition ahead later. Now the team from Ukraine, Igor Hoy and Nazary Hachmar. So again, welcome to our viewers who have woken up early in North America or are enjoying lunch now in Central Europe. Thanks for watching. We've got a question we're going to throw out to those watching today. Hop on our chat on the YouTube channel. The question is, it's still early. We're still almost 2 months away. But who are your favorites in men's doubles on that Whistler track in Canada for the FIL World Championships in February? Your predictions to win the podiums. We'll share your thoughts in a moment, but let's get down to the racing. Hoy and Kachmar, they had a time of 47.454 in the first run. Igor, 25 years old, he began his World Cup career with a different doubles partner before joining in with Nazary Hachmar a few seasons ago.
So, die beiden Athleten haben große Probleme auszukommen. Und jetzt sind sie im Labyrinth.
Nicely done so far on the bottom part of this track. As they come across with a time of 1:34.719, their second run time, 47.266, was roughly 0.2 of a second better than their opening run. So good news for them as they prepare now for tomorrow's team relay. A little rough off of curve 9. As you can see, Igor did some great steering to stay off of both walls with just a quick foot tap and a little bit of sliding diagonally. Team China, Sakaya Chubaya, Shu Hui. 17th place, they came out of the qualifying group yesterday. Nations Cup, stressful race for all of these athletes, except for women's doubles, where they don't have to qualify until this field gets a little bigger. They have a big advantage, as you see, over Ukraine heading into this run. It was 1800s, now it's 1600s. Love these graphics where you actually get to see the split times from top to bottom, just above our running clock, so that lets you know how these sleds are trending. It's 1100s now. But the 9-10 transition looks pretty good. So keep it clean down here. You hold your position and take it a second up. China over Ukraine. Finish area here in Eagles, and they have a steady bottom part of the track, 134.609. China out in front in the early going with 16 sleds still remaining in run number 2.
Ja, wir sind mittendrin quasi schon im zweiten Durchgang der Doppelsitzer. Das große Finale, die 18 besten Schlitten. 2 sind schon runtergekommen.
We've got 3 Germans in today's race, 3 USA sleds, 3 Austrians to start. Only 2 qualified for the second run. We also have 2 sleds from Latvia and 2 from Italy.
Track is clear.
Track is now clear for Romanians' first of 2. Vasily Marian Zhitlan and Darius Lucian Serban, 26 and 22 years old respectively, both currently living in Câmpina, Romania. They both say their favorite food listed on their biography is pizza. And right here in Eagles, there's a terrific pizza place hidden away a little bit on Main Street, about a 5-minute drive from the track. Near the base of the CHER that takes us all the way up, below, from below to well above us. Nice exit of curve 9 for the Romanians. 3/100ths of a second is their advantage. It's tight right now between Romania and China. But they should hang on with 3 lower lines. 6/100ths of a second, yes they do. 1:34.547, the first of 2 from Romania.
Total time. Laufzeit für Gitlan Serban 47:22.
So, und jetzt gleich nach Ihnen kommen Ihre Landsleute Dudor, Stefan, Handaric und Sebastian Motzka. Mit der Startnummer 19 sind Sie heute im ersten Durchgang ins Rennen gegangen. Schauen wir mal, ob Sie hier Ihre Position halten können. Vielleicht sogar etwas nach vorn kommen.
Off we go with our second of the Romanians. Hondarek and Mocha, these 2 Romanian sleds were separated by just about 5/100ths of a second. There you see it, 0.56.
Handaric, Motzka, startbereit.
A little rough on the settle.
Geht jetzt ins Finale dieses zweiten Durchgangs im Herren-Top-Sitzer. 300 Rückstand auf die Landsleute derzeit. Also den Vorsprung haben sie verloren.
But they find themselves in the red through the Kreisel. This clock will stop in about 2 seconds. We'll see the differential. It's tight, 6/100ths. It's roughly the advantage they had. Now they've given away. There's a disadvantage as Derek and Mocha make their way down to the last few curves. They've stayed steady with their teammates in the last several intervals, so they should not catch up. If they don't, they lose a little more time. And cross 1:34.626 for the 2 runs.
Eine Hundertstelsekunde hinter den Chinesen Liu Baihu. Und damit haben die Chinesen ihre letzte Position aus dem ersten Durchgang mehr oder weniger verlassen, sind also jetzt im schlechtesten Falle drittletzte.
So well done. One of these 2 teams, likely the other one, will qualify for the team relay tomorrow. Different nations have different standards on what will qualify them. Some is the best result, some is the fastest single heat time. Some nations use the coach's discretion. Here's Canada, Devin Wardrope, Cole Zajanski. Canada, unfortunately, will not take part, best I can tell, in tomorrow's team relay, as there is no women's doubles team. And I'm not even so certain there is a men's singles competitor. There should be. We'll check that out in a second to try to get you an answer to that one. But Canada looking to add a little bit of depth to its program before hosting the World Championships in Whistler. Now they make their way down to the bottom part, still in the green. The 2 Calgarians are having some trouble down here in the lower labyrinth. Do they give it away? They hang on. In fact, they extend on their lead 6/100ths. So that's a good showing for Canada, but it will leave them wondering whether it could have been even better, since their problems occurred very late. As it is, they were already trailing the next sled by about 0.2 of a second, so their chances of moving up in the standings really were not too strong.
Das ist nur eine Momentaufnahme, das wird sich jetzt gleich ändern, denn jetzt kommen Hannes Hollermünder und Paul Konstantin-Kubitz, die Deutschen, die leider keinen guten ersten Lauf erwischt haben mit beiden Herren aus Zelamelis.
Wardrope and Zajanski done for the day, possibly done for the weekend. Again, dubious for Canada to be fielding a team. Look at this group of spectators. They love their luge here in Austria. Second World Cup, only World Cup to be held in their country this year. This is a winter sport crazy nation with their skiing, even some hockey, Nordic skiing, snowboarding. Great athletes from Austria. Olympic medalists in bobsled and luge and skeleton. And now the first from Germany, Hannes Orlamunda, Paula Gubitz. Last year, they finished 4th in the World Cup. That was their first ever World Cup on this this Eagles track. Both 25 years old, both out of the Oberhof program, where Egert and Mueller also represent. While the Tobys are part of the Bavarian region. Flags flying in the Kreisel. Great shots by our FIL TV crew. And well out in front of the Canadians, as expected. They have a little bit of a correction in curve 9, or the exit of it. It leads them smoothly into the labyrinth. This will be a clear green down here at the bottom. The first of 3 German sleds, over a half second up on everyone else. Hannes Olamunda, Paula Gubitz. It's amazing how far down that tunnel these sleds go. And even more amazing, as I said during the last race, that the tunnel once didn't exist. The finish ramp has always been in the same place, but the athletes used to hit large pads that were set up to help slow them down. Hannes did a great job of staying calm. That could have been a lot worse out of curve 9.
Ja, das werden wir dann spätestens sehen, wenn Mods Blume hier als letztes Doppel ins Rennen geht.
Let's check and see if Patrick can tell us, or Matthias can tell us what's going on with Hannes Olamunda limping off of that sled. We've got our representatives down at the finish. Pass the news along. Pavarček and Sabine now from Slovakia, both 25 years old. Both, the favorite track for each of them is St. Moritz. We will not be at that natural track in Switzerland this season, but it is already on the schedule for next year, right after the Olympic Games. This year, the tour will continue in Oberhof, Germany. Then after the break, the 4 races in January will be 1 in Latvia, 3 more in Germany, Winterberg, Altenburg, and a second event in Oberhof in Thuringia. Then the World Championships in Canada, and races to conclude the World Cup in South Korea and China. Second place right now, but a distant second place for Slovakia.
Ich hoffe nur, dass da dem Hannes Olamunda nichts passiert ist oder nichts Schlimmeres passiert ist, dass er natürlich nächste Woche bei seinem Heimrennen an den Start gehen kann. Okay, also das waren jetzt Pavarček aus der Slowakei. Weiter geht's mit Polen, mit Wojciech, Jerzyk, Mielewski und Jakub Kowalewski. 11. waren sie im ersten Durchgang.
Done for the day, not for the weekend. Slovakia has been well represented in team relay over the past several seasons. From Poland, Wojciech Chmielewski, Jakub Kowalewski, 29 and 30 years old. They have been on the podium during their long career together. It was on a scaled backfield, a small field race in Winterberg, Germany. But it was a World Cup podium. That was about 4 years ago under very trying weather and track conditions, as you'll remember. Their best finish last year was a 7th place in Whistler. So that bodes well for their World Championship run. And look at them. They're 700ths up on the Germans. Not the cleanest exit of curve 9, and a bit of skidding and high out of 10. So they lose that advantage as a result of those small little errors. They've lost a lot of speed as well, as they're 71.9 miles per hour. And yeah, they tell it best with that shaky hand. That's what happens when you're not straight on the track. You're wavering on the track, falling back 2 positions. Right now it's Germany leading over Slovakia, Poland, Canada, and Romania. That's the top 5 with 8 down and 10 still to come.
Ja, Paul Kubitz oben in der Leadersbox hat es angezeigt. Die sind da ein bisschen einen Slalom gefahren, haben das auch mit
So we have an update on the German. The foot hurt because of hitting the wall. German out in front, but hopefully he's okay. We saw him limp over to the leader box. So thanks for that update as we move along now with the first of 3 American teams in the top 10 after run number 1. Zach DiGregorio, Sean Hollander. As far as hobbies, Zach loves playing golf. He does it all summer with teammate Tucker West. Sean enjoys his video games. They finished 7th in the team relay at the Olympic Games in Yangjing, Beijing 2022. Earlier that week, just the day before actually, they had finished 11th in the Olympic doubles. DiGregorio and Hollander holding on to the green. Quick correction, quick foot tap out of 9. That costs teams usually. Let's see what happens to this 700s between now and the finish. Speed is good. Second fastest so far, 72.8 miles an hour, but they lose the advantage over Germany, 133.446. Right now it's Germany, USA, Slovakia, the top 3. Corner 9 looking to get a little more challenging as this race moves along.
Kann man nehmen, aber die können auch noch weiter nach vorne und dann hier in Innsbruck wird wahrscheinlich ein Rang Platz 10.
DiGregorio gives you the thumbs down review, and it's possible that for first relay they will not qualify to represent Team USA, but we'll see what happens with the other American sleds as we get set for our Italian entrant, Emanuel Rieder, Simon Heinz-Waldner, the first of 2 to make it into run number 2. Rieder and Heinz-Waldner last year. But a good season on the World Cup, 6th overall, a podium at the final race in Sepulveda. They also had a 3rd place finish at the Altenburg World Cup just after the World Championships. Holding a nice advantage right now over Germany and a very smooth exit of curve number 9. In the green and holding on to a nice advantage. 1800s was a pretty good run for Germany, but now Italy out in front. And Rieder and Heinz-Waldner protect their position in the top 9. Now we have Toby Vendel and Toby Alt coming up next, and they have about an 800th lead over this Italian sled, but Rieder did a nice job in the 9-10 transition, no question about that.
Toby Vendel, Toby Alt, Deutschland, Germany.
Nice smile from Emanuel, and now the focus on the team that is likely taking more doubles runs on tracks around the world than any in the history of this sport. Toby Vendel and Toby Alt have continued a great tradition of German lugers going back to the 1960s, but preceded by Leitner and Resch and Krause-Behrendt as Olympic gold medalists. 21st century, the Tobys have won 3-time defending Olympic champions. And Wendell said they're still having a lot of fun. They're still doing a pretty decent job in staying in good shape at the age of 37. And Toby Alt, to his credit, says we still continue to learn things every year. They're always fast at the start, and so far they have the fastest start time of this run, 9.159, only 0.8 thousandths of a second off of the start record. Pretty impressive for a pair of 37-year-olds. They've built up a lead now of a quarter of a second. They have an ability, like their fellow Bavarian Felix Watt, to create magic in run number 2. Keep an eye on 46.151. That's the track record. Are they threatening it? They don't get a track record. They put in a time of 46.134. That's good enough for a very safe lead. Well out in front of everyone else. Toby and Toby. They'll get ready as two American teams that don't hold that much of an advantage of them are getting set to go. So we'll see if experience pays off against the youth now as the USA is getting ready. Look how calm these guys are. They've been doing it for so long, so many big wins. Oh no, we have a problem here. Dana Kellogg at the start. He has separated his shoulder. It's very likely he separated his shoulder. It's an incredible take. And they will not come close to finishing this. This is not that rare in luge, but it is awful. Frank Ike is doing everything he can to try to extricate both of them from the sled. The two athletes are clipped in. We don't know, but we suspect and we certainly hope this is not anything major outside of that shoulder. But this is incredible. Just unfortunate. These athletes work so hard on their shoulder muscles. They're all incredibly strong. They're incredibly fit. But this move of pulling off of the handles is not a natural one. And this does happen several times this season. I believe it was the other side, the left side, although no, it may have been right there. You can see already no paddles happening. Awful to see. Dana and Frank. That effectively puts them, literally puts them out of this race. It almost absolutely puts them out of the relay, and we can only hope that Dana can rehab next week for Oberhof.
Ich in dem Moment sagen, Material testen bis Cortina 2026, möglicherweise zum 4. Mal Olympiasieger, nonstop im Team seid ihr auch schon 3-mal, also 6 Mal.
The 24-year-old originally from Massachusetts who lives in Lake Placid. Dana Kellogg's had some great results, he and Frank. They're attending to him. In some instances, and I am not a physical trainer nor a luger, but in some instances, we have seen trainers, if not the athlete themselves, be able to put that shoulder right back into place immediately. Not that there isn't pain involved, but I have seen lugers actually do it while they were on their sled after dislocating in the start pool. They've cleared the track. They haven't cleared the track for racing, but the two American athletes are off. And what they've done also, in effect, is they've iced their teammates, Marcus Mueller and Ansel Hawkshaw, who are getting ready at the start. There they are off in the distance. Dana still very clearly in pain.
Ja, winken wir mal alle in die Kamera. Ihr seid live im Bild weltweit, liebe Freunde. Das ist Stimmung in Innsbruck.
Public address announcer trying to rally his troops.
Was für eine tolle Stimmung. Der Amiga-Eiskanal. Ja, da
That's Sean Hollander, I believe, coming up track to see how his teammate is doing. No, that's Frank. Yep, Frank Ike. Bib number 9. He's upset, but obviously you've got to feel for his teammate Dana. Got about 2 minutes to the next start. The shoulder was pulled out, and there you have a look now at Marcus Mueller and Ansel Hogshaw. Mueller, by far the most popular name in the sport this year, as you have 2 American Muellers. You have 2 Austrian Muellers. 3 of those 4 are in today's race, or in this weekend's racing, I should say. And Jens Mueller is a former Olympic champion for Germany. So these 2, they seem calm beyond their years. They're the youngest team in today's race at 19 and 20. They won the Nations Cup. They're 2 for 2, undefeated in their World Cup career in Nations Cup. They had the fastest run in the second heat last week after a crash in run number 1. And this is why you get the term iced. You can see a little bit of the stress on Marcus's face as they have to wait. They not only feel for their teammates who they know preceded them, but their routine has been severely disrupted. Fast sled, impressive athletes already. Let's see what these 2 can do. First run, their start time was 9.258. Really put in a 9.257, 1,000th second better. The Tobies just really put down a great run before them. The Tobies have about 6 million more runs down this Innsbruck track than these Americans. So let's see how the USA can handle it. Keeping it close at 800s, out of curve 9. Not a perfect line, but no skidding, no tapping. Now a 10th of a second back. They will fall back, at least relative to the Germans. If they're second place here, they'll hold their spot, and they are. Second, 133.050. Toby and Toby out in front. Mueller, Hogshaw firmly in second. It's Germany, USA, and Italy.
Vereinigte Staaten von Amerika auf 2 und Rieder auf Position.
And what this American team has likely done, it's not definite, but what they've likely done is clinched their spot for tomorrow's team relay. That will be their first in the World Cup. Last week, they were part of a podium finish in the mixed doubles event.
Ja, starker Mann, also die beiden haben schon tolle Ergebnisse erzielt.
Igor Nagler, Fabian Malaya, as we make our way now to the top 5 after run number 1. We have Italy, Austria, Germany, and Latvia to conclude this race. Nagler and Malaya on their home track. Quick starting team. Let's see their start time. It's 800s, 9.154. That's the fastest here in run number 2. Decent line in the Kreisel, very relaxed on the sled. Curve 8, still 800ths of a second. Curve 9, this will make the grade here. One more interval stop here, and they're extending the lead. So good lines down below. Italy will overtake Germany and move into the lead. A top 5 finish for Nagler and Malaya. A good showing. A lot of Italian fans, of course, across the Brenner Pass, across the bridge over into Austria, cheering on their lugers. Nice showing for Italy here. Nagler and Malaya, they finished 11th last week in Lillehammer. They finished 7th in this race last season in Innsbruck. And now they have at least a top 5. and they are likely in to the relay tomorrow. Yeah, that's a big sigh of relief. Translation, please. Yannick Müller and Armin Frascher, the second of the three Austrians that are competing in this race. Only two qualified for number 2, both in the top 4. Yannick Müller said earlier in the week that they've already done about 8 to 10 runs at this new start, which of course is 8 to 10 more than any other nation did prior to this week. He also says he likes the new start ramp, especially that first curve, a lot better than the long-time older lower start. A little bit of a correction there. We'll see how that translates down here. 1,400, good lead right now for Austria. This will guarantee Austria a podium position, at least one of the Austrian sleds. But they fall behind Italy in the late going, so a top 4 now for Italy. 1 spot drop for Yannick Müller and Armin Frascher. Müller's brother, Jonas, we'll see him tomorrow in men's singles. Their start time was very good. Third fastest so far. So right now, 4th place to the USA, 3rd to Germany, 2nd for Austria, and 1st for Italy. A shout out to our good friend Ludwig Rieder, who's watching today in Südtirol, saying, hello, I'm back on our YouTube chat. We miss you on tour, Ludwig, but what a career you had, including a World Cup victory. Podium time now, the fight for the podium positions, and here are Thomas Stoy and Wolfgang Kindl. Kindl was completely out of action for a month this summer, could not keep up with any training as he was struggling with mononucleosis, not often a disease that afflicts a 36-year-old, but he stormed into the new season last week in Lillehammer. Wolfie had a podium position in men's singles as well as doubles with Thomas Stoy. Together, they're the defending World Cup overall champions, and on their home track, they built a very sizable lead over Italy in the first half of the course. Now through the prize. Three tenths of a second now, Stoy and Kindl, but they're skidding badly. They could give it all away here. It's near the end of the track. It's going to be close. They hang on, but they lose a quarter of a second on the last 3 curves as a result of that problem, an uncharacteristic problem for Thomas Stoy on his home track. So Wolfgang gives Thomas a tap on the shoulder. The issues were down below, but that's a good look at the focus of the shield coming down. But they almost gave it all away. Problems with a quick correction out of 9, but it was in the lower labyrinth where the real issues occurred, right here, as they skid their way to the finish line. But in the end, it's another race, another podium for Thomas Stoy and Wolfie Kindl, guaranteed at least a 3rd place. Now, these 2 Austrians had an advantage of only, get ready for this, 1,000th of a second, which you'll see on your screen right there, over Egert and Müller. And now the winners of last week's race in their first ever World Cup victory, Tony Egert, Florian Müller, on course. Their start time, 9.156, that's the 2nd fastest of the run. Only Nagler and Malaya were faster. Can anyone tell me how many lugers, other lugers, that have ever won World Cup races in their first race as a doubles team or as a singles athlete. These two did last week, but they are falling behind the Austrians. But keep in mind, this is at this part of the track. Austria gave away all sorts of time down here, so it's very likely this will turn green again. And it does, by better than 10th of a second. Tony Eger, Florian Mueller, 2 races so far in their young career, 2 World Cup podiums, and still the possibility of 2 wins as 1 sled remains.
Und oben nur noch ein Schlitten, die führenden Bahnrekordhalter aus Lettland, Blume.
Ja, keine Frage. Also, eines ist auch klar.
Really well done. Tony Eger, 59 career World Cup victories in doubles. One of them last week with Florian Mueller.
Heimsiege sind nicht automatisch abzuholen, denn internationale Konkurrenz, die ist ja wirklich saustark. Und jetzt
last week's 3 podium positions were held by Germany, Austria, and Latvia. And it appears very likely that those same 3 doubles teams will be on the podium, but it's not definite because 1 sled remains. And here they are, Martins Bots and Roberts Plume. Will they win for the 7th time in their career on the World Cup, or will Egert and Mueller win for the 2nd time in 2 races on the World Cup? Their advantage is not tiny, but it's also not a big one, just under a 10th of a second. They are also very fast at the start. And their time of 9.170 is the 4th fastest start. But significantly, it's a little slower than Egert and Mueller. Let's see what the clock tells us here out of Kreisel into curve number 8. 600.
Also hier sind die gleich schnell wie die Deutschen. Ja, auch auf der 9 ein kleiner Slalom. Aber wie kommen sie durch? Nein, die werden heute gewinnen.
Down to the finish area now. And they do it with a 46.242, 132.397. Latvia hangs on for the victory. Congratulations to Latvia, a great showing.
Wildes Gejohle hier von den lettischen Fans. Also, aber verdient, wirklich großartige Fahrt von Martin.
Not sure if anyone's hearing me, but I lost my picture. Hopefully the audio is still good there.
Aber Tony Eger und Florian Müller haben hier wirklich Tolles abgeliefert und werden also die Gesamtweltcup-Führung.
Latvia takes it. The same 3 teams on the podium this weekend from last week.
Beide haben 185 Weltcup-Punkte.
Martin Spots and Robert Pluma really negotiating it well from top to finish. Another great showing for Egert, Mueller, and Stoy and Kindle on the podium once again. Congratulations from the German coaches to the Latvian coaches, and Tony and Marcus. Not undefeated in their young career, but 2 races and 2 podiums. Working the crowd, Martin Spots. What a year for these 2. They each got married over the summer, and they're 2 for 2 on the podium, including their 7th World Cup victory. 132.393, well in front of Germany. Great showing for Magler and Malaya, and Mueller and Frauscher in 5th place. The Tobys move up 1 spot into 6th. And a look at all of the top 18 that competed here in run number 2.
Und dann die offizielle Siegerehrung. Und wir sehen ja heute noch eine Entscheidung, nämlich das Rennen der Damen. Das ist dann im Anschluss zu sehen. Aber jetzt also auf alle Fälle.
Interviews and award ceremony is still coming up. We'll also give you a look at the World Cup standings after 2 runs, as they all kind of flip-flop each other, and as a result of 2 victories, 1 each by the Latvian and the Germans, they are tied ahead of the Austrians. The crowd getting ready to applaud the teddy bear handout as the awards will be presented here down at the podium. Einar Spogelis in his 4th year now as the president of the International Luge Federation. Up above, you see the Austrian television crew in the deck above the finish area. You gotta wonder how Marcus feels. He struck gold by having one of the greatest of all time, Tony Yeager. Have him join him on the double sled. And if you're watching at home, Sasha Bedekin, I'm sure you're smiling of the performance of your old teammate, longtime teammate, and how he's back and succeeding. Photo ops, and then they'll separate them. We've got Austrian TV on hand here as well, so you know they're going to be looking to interview Thomas and Wolfi. But we'll grab all of the top finishers as well for our live world feed. Still ahead, the men's singles competition that's coming up this afternoon from Innsbruck. As it gets a little cloudy here, not much warmer. Conditions are still pretty good. We saw some great racing with some of the fastest times, even late in the run. Nothing really threatening the start record, though, that the Latvians put down in run number 1. Just an update that comes to us from Matthias down at the finish, who says that Dana Kellogg suffered a dislocated shoulder. That's official. So we hope that the American is okay as we move towards Oberhof next week. But great showing here. Some of the beautiful pictures. 3rd place to the Austrians, 2nd place to Germany, and the win here in Innsbruck to the Latvians. Latvia wins a lot of races, but we don't see them take the top of the podium that often here on the Innsbruck track.
Guys, congratulations on the podium.
3rd place.
You had a bit of a trouble on the track. What happened out there to you?
Yeah, we're glad to be on the podium with these 2 runs. We had problems the whole week. It was not really a home advantage because of the new start height, and it was difficult to find the right lines in labyrinth. And yeah, we didn't manage, but we stayed on the sled, and the speed was really good from the sled itself. It was great, but yeah, we're happy to be on the podium, but the rest was not really good.
Thank you. A little bit of an understatement by Wolfi. Difficult in the labyrinth. They did all they could to keep the sled on the ice, and they did a great job. Let's hear from our 2nd place team coming up in just a moment. Tony Egert, Florian Mueller.
Guys, congratulations on P2. Last week started really great. Still on the podium. How do you feel here in Eagles today?
Yesterday in the seating training, we was just in the 6th time in the end, and we had a small mistake in the start, but we don't know how big speed lost was there, and I think we can be really, really happy. We had little mistakes in the 2nd run. The curve 9 and 14 was a little strange, so I think we got the maximum what was possible today, because Botsblume was crazy fast. I think even without mistakes, this was not this 1700s. Maybe it would be closer, but doesn't matter. In the end, 2nd place, still with them in the lead in the World Cup. It's nice, and yeah, next week will be next challenge. Will be hard.
Congratulations, thank you. Thanks.
And next week will be on their home track, so it will be a challenge, but they could be one of the favorites. The winners come from Latvia. They were super fast, as Tony just said.
Congratulations, you won here in Eagles. You had a big crowd here. How does it feel to win here?
It's almost like home. Martin's family is here. It's a wonderful support. I think they gave us this extra speed what we needed to win this World Cup.
The track is a few seconds longer. Did it impact your performance today?
Yeah, I think it benefits us because we like to get more speed in down the track. Now the track is more to slide, so we can gain advantage on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job for Latvia, and the Latvian fans are obviously delighted about what unfolded here. So we've had 2 races so far here, and we've had the Austrians already with 1 victory, women's doubles. Latvia takes the second race, men's doubles, and will set the stage for women's singles coming up next. It's a German, Julia Tobitz, who won last year's World Cup and who won last week's race in Lillehammer. We'll see if Julia, who also did well last year here in the race for the second place, we'll see how she does against the rest of the world. Women's doubles is through, men's doubles is through, and stick around for the women's singles coming to you next from Innsbruck, Austria.
Another